It's been decades since Japan rolled out sleek, high-tech bullet trains. Passenger rail in the U.S. is still trying to get up to speed, with rides that industry leaders say will be faster, greener, and easier than long road trips or pricey and frustrating flights.
We in this country put all our eggs in the baskets of highways and aviation, and now we're sort of stuck with the problems of both of those modes because of their limitations.
Looking to lead, Brightline, a privately owned passenger rail service in Florida. It's extending its Florida line from Miami to Orlando later this summer.
We've designed and built a customer-oriented product from the ground up.
Traveling at speeds of up to 125 miles per hour, Brightline says these trains will make the 170-mile trip in just over 3 hours. That's shorter than the more than 5-hour ride on Amtrak, generally cheaper than a 1-hour flight, and the company says more convenient than hitting the road.
Americans love their cars until their cars don't work for their needs anymore. And if you're stuck on crowded, unsafe highways, an alternative is what you're looking for.
Critics wonder if Americans will start opting for more rail time over the open road, but U.S. passenger rail ridership is up 45% in the last 20 years, and the numbers are climbing. Meanwhile, rail experts say federal investment hasn't kept pace, and now a train ride from New York to Chicago actually takes longer than it did back in 1950.
There's really no other mode of transportation, buses, planes, of course, car travel, that is delivering sort of mid-century service levels and patterns in the way that passenger trains do.
We're taking care of the riders, laying track, wiring switches, fixing bridges, tunnels, modernizing stations.
The president's bipartisan infrastructure bill is fueling change with $66 billion for rail improvements nationwide. It's the biggest public boost for passenger rail since 2008, when California voted to build the nation's first high-speed rail, but $9 billion, and 15 years later, not a single mile of track is laid. Government-owned Amtrak plans to use some of the federal funding to modernize its fleet, but the faster trains won't debut until 2026. Meanwhile, Brightline plans to break ground on a high-speed rail between Las Vegas and the Los Angeles area later this year. While other projects struggle to gain steam, Brightline says its privatized model could be used across the country.
Atlanta, Charlotte looks like a place that is set up for this kind of success. Chicago, St. Louis is another one. Portland, Seattle, what we like to think of as the Texas Triangle, Houston, San Antonio, Dallas. Those city pairs set up very, very nicely for this kind of private sector model.
And experts say that could reinvent rail in the U.S. much faster.
They'll help speed up the whole build out of the United States and get us into high-speed rail much sooner than publicly led projects.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.